everyone, welcome to Strictly Diesel TV. I'm here with Ray, your host, and I'm Nate. We're going to do a fan hub install for you today. We get a lot of phone calls on this GOS fan hub adapter. We pretty much take the tech support for them, but this is a very neat piece right here, and we hope we can make lives easier by showing you how to install it. We're going to start tear down on our 6.7 today. This is a 6.7 that's been a display motor for us. This particular application is identical to the common rail 5.9. And by the way, this does fit 03 to current 6.7 and 5.9 trucks. This is going to be in this place when we get done. We're going to get started and do tear down here. First thing you want to do with the downward angle, 1/2-inch drive ratchet, is push the belt tensioner down. That's going to release your belt, okay? Once the belt is released, you want to remove it so that's out of the way and our fan drive is clear, okay? I don't know if you can hear that, but it does have a bad bearing. Like I said, we're going to be replacing this anyway, so here we go. Again, this has been a display motor. There are 6 bolts on here, not on this display engine. They've been missing for quite some time, but we only need to remove 2 of them. As you can see, there's our part. The threads are going to change so we can fit a power stroke fan clutch. Want to remove the top idler pulley. And then this application has little cutouts here that you can reach the bolts in the bracket. We're going to pull out 4 bolts that hold this on the motor. Just for reference, there are 3 normal length bolts and then 1 that's a little bit longer. That one that's longer goes in this position right here. And there you have it. This is our fan drive assembly. Normally you'll find the fan drive on the water pump. On the Cummins it is not. It is on this fan hub, fan drive piece. We're going to press this bearing out, press our fan hub adapter out, and install a new bearing and our fan hub. Okay folks, so we have our fan hub drive assembly here. I just want to take a minute and show you some comparisons. This here is a 12 valve fan drive. Okay, we get some calls on the 12 valves wanting to do a similar fan clutch design. The 12 valve fan spins a different direction than the common rail, and as you can see, it is a different size. Will not work. Now for what it's worth, the bearing is identical, but this fan hub will not work with your pulley on a 12 valve. So to start the removal process, we're going to remove this bolt and washer from the rear of the assembly. This is basically a keeper in case the bearing fails. Okay, you may want to hold this with a rag to break it loose, and for what it's worth, you may want to put it in a vise, depending on the style tool you're using to hold the assembly in place. You can pinch it on a vise right here to hold it while you break it loose. Bolt, spacer, washer, whatever you want to call it, there you go. This exposes the back side here. Again, very similar, but this shows you what's going on the back side. To press this off, you can use a bearing splitter, you can use whatever you want to really, as long as you make it safe and are able to do it in a timely manner. most of all, be safe. My splitter's a little bit well used, so bear with me here while I tighten this. And from here, we're going to go over to the press. Okay folks, so we're here at the press now. We've got it set up. Got our bearing splitter here, mounted on the press with our fan hub and fan drive bracket assembly here. I'm just going to use a socket to fit inside here to press out the actual fan hub assembly. You can use whatever you have at your convenience to press this out with. It doesn't have to be a socket, it can be one of anything. For what it's worth, this is a snap-on size 18 short socket that fits in there just perfect. So here we go, we're going to start pressing. You can see there the assembly's coming out. Ran out of room on our press here, so we're going to make some adjustments and keep going. As you can see, it broke loose. Now we have our fan drive bracket assembly with the bearing. Got our socket. And then here's the fan hub. Out. Piece of cake, right? On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the easiest and 10 being the hardest, I rate this whole job around a 9, 8.5 to a 9, simply because of the fact that you need a press, you need to have some knowledge of hydraulics, you need to be safe, you need to know what's going on, where you're pressing and what you're doing. But yeah, overall very simple process, very straightforward. We're going to press out this bearing nut too, show you how that's done. The bearing does come out a little harder. Here's our bearing. Here's our fan drive bracket, no bearing. We'll start the assembly process here in a moment. Okay folks, so we got our press set up here. This is kind of going to be a two-part pressing session. Again, working the press with the tools you have for where you're at and what you're doing may be totally different than what I have, so user discretion is advised. But we're going to get this bearing going back in here shortly. For what it's worth, we are using a used bearing today for our purposes. Happen to have a couple good used ones that we can show without damaging a brand new bearing and or wasting a brand new bearing. If you buy a bearing from us, it's going to come in a brown wrapper, nice shiny, brand new. Look for the brown wrapper. It is on our website, strictlydiesel.com. Very good price. Always have those in stock. Before we lube this and install it, I have this bracket lubed already. You can use either a WD-40 or like, or a multi-purpose lube like we have here. Just gonna spray it on the bearing there so you see it. And then we're gonna get pressing. I have an old hub socket here for four-wheel drive, 2 3/8 inch, I believe it is, 6-point. Yes, 2 3/8. This has been used more for pressing and other things than hub tool as of late. So we're going to support it like so. Put our race driver on here again. There's a touch of a balancing act. Got it almost all the way in there. You want this bearing flush with the top side here when you're done. As you can see on the back side here, it is flush at the moment, but we're going to finish this off flush on the top side. And there you have it. Bearings in, nice and smooth, flush with the top of the housing. Looks good. Now let's do our fan hub. You want to lube the inside of the bearing. Any lube of your choice. I like to use the multi-purpose on the race, outside of the race and the outside of the fan hub adapter. Okay. Going back in, you're going to want to support the bearing and push on the hub. Fan hub does stop when it's at the correct spot. Just to verify, we can pull that out, have a look. Everything looks good on the back side here. Everything looks good on the front. It does spin freely. We're going to go ahead and finish the process here with our bolt. Normal thread, ready tidy bolt. Give it a hit with our impact here, and we are all set. Now we can run a power stroke style fan clutch, 7.3, 94 to 97 body style on our Cummins 5.9 and or 6.7. Hope you enjoyed this video. Leave us your comments. Stop by and say hello. Okay folks, I almost forgot, we need to reassemble this engine. Basically you need to repeat how you took it apart, but we're going to assemble it for you so you can see how it goes back together. So we got our fan drive assembly here. Got our 4 bolts for the bracket. Remember the long one goes in this bottom hole right here. I realize I'm cheating a little bit. Not in a vehicle, but the process is going to be the same. These are 10 millimeter, 4 10 millimeter bolts. Recommend you tighten it in a star pattern. Be aware that the idler pulley does have a small shim on the back of it here. Depending, that may or may not be a little stubborn for you. It is notched, so it's not supposed to come off, but this one did a little bit here, so we'll fix it. There we go. Idler pulley goes into the top hole here. And then we have our pulley for this next. I want to show you installing the belt first though. Typically if you're in the truck you don't need to necessarily remove it all the way, but sometimes it happens, it falls off. In case that happens, you got to start from scratch. You may want to loosen the belt tensioner bolt here. If it's in the vehicle and you're having a hard time, this will allow you to get the belt behind it, but it will work as it's sitting here to slide the belt behind the pulley, around the AC compressor, up to the alternator. The other side of this goes around the crankshaft pulley. The belt is about 4 miles long, so be aware. We're going to stop it right there. install our pulley for the belt. Please make sure you have 6 bolts that are going on here. You may want to Loctite these to ensure that they're not going to come out. Again, this is a display engine. We're going to cheat a little bit, just put the 2 on. Now we're going to complete the install on our belt. Typically, it's easiest to do the water pump last. It is a smooth pulley. You can slide it over. Again, with a downward motion on the tensioner, slide it over the water pump pulley. Inspect all the belt on each item. Make sure they're on there good. Nothing's skipped over. Everything's aligned properly. You are all set to go. Enjoy driving your truck. Get these parts on your truck.